Hello, hello, hello. Today's session is all about luck. So let's begin, okay? So I want you to start by taking a deep breath in, filling all the way up, feeling it in the top of your lungs, allowing your diaphragm to expand. And exhale, release, and just retreat into yourself. Two more like that. Inhale, you are expanding, you're opening up, you're widening. Exhale, release, retreat into yourself. And then another time, open, 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 expand. Exhale, release, retreat into yourself. So as you're breathing through this, we're just going to work through luck, okay? So, if you want to attract more luck into your life, some people call it light work. They may call it manifesting. There's a lot of terms for this. But luck in general is very simple. Difficult to do, not because it's complicated, but like most things, we have free will and choice, and sometimes we do not choose what we need to do. So if you would like to bring more luck into your life, it's very simple. You just need to honor yourself. So we're going to break that down some more. So as we're going through this session, I want you to continue the breathing. Whether you want it to be a deep breath or you want it to be a more shallow breath, it is up to you. And you can even take movement in your arms where you lift your arms up and then you exhale and you release. We're just working with clearing and cleansing some of the subtle bodies, just our energy, our boundaries, our aura around us, taking movement in this space. Now, whenever I start to move, I will always elect to put a little stretch in there. Okay? So whether you are looking left and right, up and down, to the side, twisting, other side, one more time, just releasing and letting that go. And again, throughout the entire session, you can do that. You can stand up, you can move through it. It is up to you. So when it comes to honoring ourselves, that means that we show up with the energy, the attitude, the habits, and the routines that honor what are important to us. So, step one, sit down and decide what is important to you. And when you decide what's important to you, you also have to decide what is not important to you or no longer important to you. This is a term I've been saying for a long time. I say don't be an energetic hoarder. An energetic hoarder is someone who wants to bring in, but wants to do zero shadow work to let go of stuff that's taking up space. So it's hard for them to bring more things in because there's too much in there. It's time to let some things go. So as you bring things in and you decide what you want, what's important to you, you also release and let go what is not important to you. Sometimes that means not important ever again, or just for right now, it's not important. Most of the things that you want to go after in your life, they take just having a concentrated amount of time. But if you try to do too many things at one time, it'll feel like you're not making progress because there's too many things you have to handle. Okay? So you want to reduce it down. You want to lower what you have on your plate. Very simple, okay? So you understand what's important now, okay? So let's just, before I even move on, let's just get you some clarity with that, okay? As you allow that air to flow throughout your body, see your body releasing and letting go of the things you don't need at this moment. Don't put a lot of thought into it. Just let it go. And as you are inhaling, bringing energy in, see what's important for you in this moment. but have some clarity, because sometimes we have a big thing and that big thing might take a long time. So what is it that you can do now in these moments, in the short term, in the span of a year or two? So you bring that in your body and make peace with this ebb and flow. Do not micromanage things. Do not feel like you got to control things. Do not feel like it has to look this way. The universe is going to make it look however it's going to look, okay? We can be as hopeful as we want to. I say all the time, the reason why I don't do a lot of meddling, I don't do a lot of forcing things, I'm not going to do energy work to do X, Y, and Z, only to cleanse and clear and balance myself, is because sometimes we're doing stuff when it's already in the works. Sometimes we have things that are being cleared up in our life so that we can receive what we truly want, but we just have to clear that stuff up. No, we want it right now, so we want to pull it in before it's ready. And then it impacts how we receive it. No, the universe is going to do what it needs to do. The energy is very subtle. If I put that intention out there and I put in the effort to do it and I troubleshoot any challenges or setbacks that happen, then poof, these things start to happen and I start to look very lucky. When it's not just that. You are very clear on what's important to you. That's it. That is simply it. And you put effort and routine into it and you troubleshoot any setbacks. That's it. At no point in this process did I ever say that there won't be moments where things are feeling challenging or disappointing. It doesn't have to be extreme. It can simply be like you don't feel like doing something that day. Completely normal. Do not let your intrusive thoughts win. And in those moments, sometimes if you just need to take a break, take a break. But at the end of the day, it has to get done. Whether you want to do it sooner or later, it's up to you. Try not to live off of the energy of procrastination. I remember I used to read some of my old papers I wrote like maybe 15 years ago. I was like, wow, that was me. It doesn't even sound like me. I was running off of procrastination. You really start to no longer doubt yourself when you're at that last end. You're like, I just got to get it out there. But why not give the nervous system a break and just slowly trust yourself and just put your information or just do the things you need to do now. Okay? Take your time. So, as we are attracting luck into your life, it is very clear that you know what's important for you right now. And you have released, let go, or in the process of releasing the things that are not important. Now, let's establish the habits and routines. The habits and routines are different than the emotions, feelings, and beliefs. So we're going to get to that in a second. The habits and routines are saying, in order to make this thing come to be, what do I need to do to make steps towards that? And I'm going to tell you this saying, I said all the time, my grandmothers used to say, ain't nothing new under the sun. No matter what you want to do, there's a path. Even if you're the first person to ever do it the way you're trying to do it, there's still many paths that you can utilize in order to find how to do things. So you go, you do research. If it's something that's been in your heart, you probably have an idea, and then you narrow it down. The first way that you do things, it's not going to be the way it ends up being, because you got to test it out and see if it's right for you. Do not force, a square peg through a triangle, it doesn't make sense. Over time, you'll realize, this is what I need. This is what I thought that I needed based off of the research, but this is actually what I need. And you make peace with it. You trust yourself. You realize I don't have to look or do it that way. I can do it this way. And then you get into your flow. Okay? That's a whole process within itself. So let's break that down and do some energy work there. Inhale. Exhale, release. 2 more. Exhale. 1 more. Release. Simply say to yourself, I trust myself. I trust that this process will become available for me. And I trust the end results of the process that is best for me. And any variation of what I just said, just continue to inhale. Exhale and release, and just make peace. Don't have analysis paralysis where it's like all of these. No, choose one thing, and it doesn't matter which one you choose because you'll figure out what's best for you over time. You can't get it wrong the first time. Sometimes people think that if they pre-plan everything and it's so perfect that it's going to prevent them from feeling discomfort. Nope. Guess what? You wasted all your time trying to make everything perfect, and you're still going to experience discomfort because challenge is just a part of the process. It's how we work through those levels of growth. And when you move past any trauma you've experienced in your life, you then have to go through a period of time of reprogramming your body, your nervous system, your mind, and your belief system to understand that not all discomfort should be associated with trauma. And the only way you can do that is to face it and work through it. And the cool thing about facing that discomfort is even though it comes up in a very traumatic way, once you work through it, you quickly start to realize there's no trauma here. It's just the normal challenge that comes with opportunity. So there's no way to cheat that. People are like trying to cheat that. And the more you build it up in your head, oh no, I can't do it, it becomes this huge, huge thing. Just tackle it as soon as it happens. As soon as you feel the little discomfort, just tackle it then. Don't let it grow. Don't turn what do they say? Don't turn a molehill into a mountain. They would say it like this: you make a mountain out of a molehill. Okay, don't turn it into that. Just face it there. Now, most of the people around you will not be doing that. And if you're looking for people who are going to do that at the same time, it's you're going to do it and then you'll find your people. That's how it is. It's not really, oh, I find my people and we're holding hands through it. No, you'll get caught up in whatever everyone else is doing at the time. Okay, this is a journey for you. You're completely fine. It will be okay. You can navigate this. So you know what's important, you let go of what isn't important, and you are establishing routines and habits in your life realistically, going through that process, iterating over and over. Now, let's get into the best part, which is your feelings, your thoughts, and your beliefs. Because out of all of these things, even though knowing what you want, letting go, making space for what you want, and the habits and routine is really all you need, most people can't do that. Even though they can do these things. They can decide what they want. They can start to take action. What stops most people is their feelings, their thoughts, and their beliefs. So, if you can work through that, this is not that bad of a challenge. It's really this is what's going on underneath the surface as you're working towards these things. These are very simple. So if you've ever asked yourself, it's so simple, why can't I just, no, because you're trying to change the routine when you don't really need to change the routine because you think your feelings are going to change by the routine. No, it's you have good common sense to understand like, oh, this does or doesn't work out. But you can't change the routine to change your belief system or your thoughts or your feelings. You got to deal with that on their own. That's a whole thing. I've met many practitioners, and I've seen this outside of the healing space too, who they want to grow their practice. They want to bring more people in. So they feel like, oh, okay, I just have to continue to study more and more and more of my techniques. And I explain to them, that's good. That's how you're good at healing. That's how you will keep people in the space. But that will not attract more people to you because that's a marketing problem. And you're focusing on a technique or technical problem, which is okay. This is a good thing. But it doesn't matter how long you study. It doesn't matter how long you prepare. It doesn't matter how many times you try to change, your routine. If your problem is a marketing problem, then you need to focus on marketing solutions. So if the problem here is an emotion, thought, belief system problem, then make peace with this over here. This is okay. And you got to work on this. Okay. Now, the example of the marketing problem is kind of simple. You just have to learn marketing things. But when it comes to the emotions, thoughts, and feelings, now that's a little bit harder because there's so much depth to it. who you believe you are, why you believe you are doing things. Sometimes as you work through these feelings that come up in the process of going towards your goals, your feelings attracting that luck, you'll start to unravel some things that might make you not really want to do these things. Maybe these things actually weren't for you. And so don't be afraid of unraveling that and realizing that. No. But sometimes people will hold on to that because they have a unified goal. They want to be a part of a community, so they are hinging their identity on this unified goal. You can work towards things in a group, and it doesn't have to be your whole identity. You can have your own identity. But say it's something that you really like, you're really good with, you're like, okay, this is what I want. But these feelings are coming up, and they've always come up. And when you work through the feelings, ask yourself, do you think that this thing that you're trying to do you think it is going to resolve some trauma of your past? I see this in relationships, trying to make a relationship work out with someone in order to resolve how someone's relationship was with someone previously in the past, or with family, like parents, like fathers and mothers and parental figures. No matter how much you try to force this relationship to work, it will never resolve your mommy, your daddy issues, your parental issues, whatever it's not going to. This is totally different. Okay. We can even take it a little bit further of saying, well, I'll feel successful, or I'll feel accomplished, or I'll finally feel happy, or I'll finally feel beautiful once I accomplish X, Y, and Z. Well, when it comes to feeling successful, or when it comes to feeling beautiful, those are things that you can technically feel in the moment. You do not have to make this whole thing, the success of that, hinge on your self-worth. So as you unravel these things, you might start to realize, like, wow, I was doing this because I thought that this would make me feel successful. But now that I'm working towards feeling successful in the moment, finding those little successes, bigger successes, thinking of the things that I was successful before, maybe this is not that important, or it frees it up for you to say, okay, well, now I can do this and not really have to think about it. Let's continue to work on this a little bit more, because I think this really is important. Let's get into the beliefs. Well, other people can do it and I can't. Or you've always been told something you don't even realize that is embedded into your understanding. So if you've had someone who is important in your life, it could be in jobs, it could be, again, the parental kind of thing, it just experiences of how you were told that life is to be. Just understand, however you go about life is up to you. However you want to think, or however you want to structure how life will be, is up to you. So a lot of times we have these ways of thinking that this is how life is, when it's just we've inherited, whether by option or just by environment, other people's ways of thinking. So when you release and you let that go, you kind of start to realize, oh wow, maybe I'm putting too much limitations on myself. Maybe I'm saying I'm not allowed to work on my end goal until I accomplish all of these other things that have nothing to do with this goal. So that is when you work and break through things. Now that comes up in the process of going towards those goals. And you have to make space for that. Sometimes you got to pause. Sometimes you got to, just move through it. Oh, okay, cool. I'm going to move through it. Sometimes you got to write it down, remember it. You might want to voice memo it or make a video just to remind yourself so you don't forget, because a lot of things in our life are cyclical. They're going to continue to come back and back and back until we move and work through it. There's many things that when I even look at my own life, I look at like older people that I know. And when I talk about a business, like starting a business, today it's much easier to start a business than when they were starting a business, like maybe like 50 years ago, or let me not go back 50, maybe like 30 years ago. A big part of it has to do with the internet. The internet connects everything. And those businesses before were much more likely to be brick and mortar, meaning a physical business or a business based off of a network. So having to know people. So those people sometimes are stuck in the mindset of a business needs to look like this way, and they need to spend all this money to do all of this stuff. And for the people I've talked to, I've said, well, you can start your business without all of that overhead. The overhead is meaning the cost of a location, the cost of inventory, the cost of these. It depends on the business, of course. But I tell them, I say, hey, start your business off by building up your client list. How do you build up your client list? You can go on social media, or if you're a local person, you can start to go to local things that have your ideal client there and figure out ways to create some type of list, however you want to do that, some type of contact in which they are familiar with what you do. And a lot of times that's free. Sometimes that's just putting yourself out there, word of mouth. You have to get over knowing how to cold call or knowing how to put yourself out there on the internet. But those are things that are free. So you build up the clients and then you build up the excitement, and that can fund what you want to do. But so many people that I've met of that certain age demographic are so stuck on, I can't work on this business until this stuff, that they don't even realize that the expertise that they have is enough to build the business that they want. But they're so limited in their belief because they learned it so long ago, it's hard for them to break that. So learning how to break those things that no longer work for you, it comes up in the process towards your goals. I used to say for my own self, oh my gosh, I have so many hobbies. I have so many things that I want to do. I can focus on things that are important for me. You all know I'm a healer. I do other things as well. But I also have a lot of hobbies that I don't always take serious. I don't need to take serious. But I take the training for them very serious. And I had to realize for myself, okay, when I'm focusing on those things that are serious, I gotta, put some of my hobbies to the side. I gotta put them on the shelf. I can pick them back up later, but I don't really, need them for any of those things. But over time, I learned how to do that because I used to take everything I did so serious. Whether it is something that was leading to something bigger or something that is just a hobby, I took it all so serious. And then I realized, like I just said, okay, some things you can pick it up for amusement, you can train, and then you can put it to the side. You could pick it up at another time. And the other things that you want to be more serious with, you have to continue to be consistent with. That way you don't burn out. You're not overexerting yourself. You can accomplish what you need to accomplish. You can do things. And I've learned how to narrow things down more and more. Like there's been things that I've wanted to do. Okay, I want to do this for me. And then I realized oh, okay, these other important things are taking up more space. So I really got to put this to the side too. And creating a process. And then of course, those things that you can no longer narrow down, you got to stick with that. But in doing that, it made me realize things like for me as an entrepreneur, as someone who has been an entrepreneur for a long time, I realized that, there is a wisdom in learning and knowing how to start business, learning and knowing how to grow business. So you don't have to figure things out over and over again, even if you're in a different area of expertise. Why is this important? Because I realized that I become more and more efficient as I start new types of businesses. And I've noticed for a recent business that I had started that instead of doing, what I've done before, all of these things, I recognized here's the product, here's what the audience is looking for, and I'm just going to bridge those two together. I don't need to do any of this other stuff. All of this other stuff, not important. Marketing, good product, consistency, and just keep it going. And it's just amazing me that I'm generating income much quicker than other projects I've done where I've taken so much longer. Also, it's understanding the niche area. Some niches take a longer time than others. So how is that an example of the belief? Well, I had a belief of how I thought businesses were based off of my experience. And then I realized over time, okay, I can be better at this. It doesn't have to look like the other businesses. It can just be what I think through my experience. Remember, I said, don't put the square through the triangle, through my experience. And, go and take those actions. And I was surprised that it created so much traction so much earlier on. Now, I could have done that in previous businesses, but I would have not known. I would have not had the experience. I would have not, it would have worked out fine. But wisdom gives you experience. So it lets you know that throughout the process, it took the pressure of, I got to build this. It has to look like these other businesses before I can start to release products or services. And I realized, nope, it doesn't have to look like anything. I just have to have the product. I have to attract the client. That is their solution. And I have to create that bridge. It doesn't matter if I have a 0 client list or nobody there. And that's what I mean by narrowing things down. That's what I mean by redefining what, how you want to see life. If someone would just come and look at that business, they might say, oh no, you need to do this, this, and that. And I say this all the time. I've said this on Reiki Healing Hope when it came to promoting the Reiki Master Teacher Training. I can't have anyone come in here and tell me how to run a business who've never run a business before. I just can't. I think it makes sense. You listen to your clients. You listen to what your clients are looking for. And you create services and solutions. But when someone tries to give me business advice and they've never run a business, I can't. I can't. Doesn't make sense because I have the wisdom. But many people come from many environments in which they themselves can't break out of that. They themselves tell themselves they can't do this or they can't do that unless X, Y, and Z. So that, again, with this whole luck thing, is really being able to break out of those old ways of believing, feeling, and thinking. Okay? So let's just do a cleanse very quickly through that and just release and let go. It's going to come up again. It's okay. But you just have to work through it. And oftentimes for me, things are healing when I understand the full process. So now that you understand the process, you can release and let it go and work through it. It's a part of the process. It's your cred to know that you are going in the direction you need to grow. So now let's bring all of these together. In order to bring luck into your life, you have to know what you want. You have to let go of the things that are taking up space. You have to establish habits and routines and troubleshoot when you need to adjust those. And you have to work through your emotions, your feelings, and your thoughts. When you do that, even if you do it sloppily, luck will come because someone will look at you and they're like, oh, you're so lucky. They don't see all that preparation. That's all luck is, As they say, when opportunity meets preparation, that's all it is. I can see, or I've seen throughout my years within the esoteric wellness space, even when I was younger, that people are attracted to the space for many reasons, but for a very specific reason when it comes to attracting, they think, well, I like this because then I can circumvent the challenge that comes with wanting something new in my life. And guess what? It doesn't matter how powerful you are. You can't circumvent that. These feelings, these emotions, these working through these things, these relearning things, that's just life. That is your wisdom. That is your resources later on. How many failed businesses did I have before I learned how to make one that worked? So all these setbacks or all these times that maybe things aren't bad, but you just have to work through it, it's not a bad thing. It's preparing you. You might be doing things now that are preparing you for something somewhere else. I never realized how much preparation I had to come to this moment and how this is preparing me for the future. I can see it now, but I couldn't see it then. I just thought of like, oh, things are not happening yet. Why aren't they happening yet? No, take your time. That is how you bring luck into your life. Okay, so let's close this up by bringing this energy back. Now, I used a lot of business examples today. Other times I typically like to focus on relationships because I notice a lot of people are attracted to me for relationship energy. I think it's because I'm a very grounded person And relationship energy can be very irrational. So sometimes people are like, I need a little bit of grounded energy. But these things can be related to relationships. And I tell people all the time, don't just limit yourself to romance. Think about the relationships that you have with family, with friends and community, of course, romantic, all of those things, okay? So another breath. Inhale, exhale, release, and let it go. You did a fantabulous job today. If you like the way that I teach, I do have a Reiki Master Teacher training. It is an apprenticeship. And so I call them energy healing practitioners, and they will receive all of their attunements in Reiki, but it's so much more. I cover other modalities. I cover intuitive work. I cover just how do you continue to train throughout your life? How do you work with clients? And most importantly, how do you grow your practice? I have marketing experience as well too. So all of these things in a year-long apprenticeship, and I open it up 3 times throughout the year. So you can go to reikihealinghope.com to learn more about that, or you can join the mpcommunity.com, my people, the mpcommunity.com. That is the community of which I host a lot of free workshops, free events. It's not just me. There's other wonderful practitioners who are on that space who deliver just quality experiences. And that's where everything happens. So you can do that there too. I do take clients. So if you need to come to me for a session, my books are open as well. So you can go to reikihealinghope.com and you can schedule a session there too. And last but certainly not least, I hope that whether you're new, you just met me, or you've known me over the years at Reiki Healing Hope ASMR, that this continues to help you align yourself with your goals and working towards things. You know, I just try to give what I felt like I was missing, and I receive positive feedback, but it's always helpful when you all do tell me that it is helpful for you over time, because it lets me know that it is solving, or it is working towards what I initially had hoped it to work towards. So I appreciate it. I take it in the comment section. And if you know someone who would benefit from these types of videos, please share the videos, send them to them. So until next time, I'll see you. I'll see you, Reiki Healing Hope. I'll see you on My People. I'll see you when I see you, okay? So bye, everyone.